Could selling Matheus Cunha and buying this hidden cheap differential be the key to my next big green arrow in FPL? In today's team selection video, we're taking a look at how I expect to line up for game week 22 and what moves I could potentially make. So, let's get into this. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's team selection video. If you are brand new around here, make sure you've clicked that subscribe button for future videos, and of course like today's video as well. It'll take you 2 seconds to do. The like goal is 15 likes. Straight into the defense though, we're still rocking that triple up on the Arsenal defense. We spoke a little bit previously in the week about Saliba in particular. I do love the fact he gets those clean sheet points when Arsenal gets a clean sheet. Starts every game, brilliant defender, but Gabriel is just a monster. I would absolutely love Saliba to be Gabriel in this setup here. He just is massive in FPL, probably the best defender in the game in all honesty, but I want to be saving as many transfers as possible, and I'm not sure it's the best move I can make in the coming weeks. But if Gabriel goes ahead and scores a goal, and Saliba, of course, just gets a clean sheet, Gabriel massively outscores him, gets the bonus, and it's devastating. But Saliba did outscore him last week, so I'll give it to Saliba there. But I would love him to be Gabriel in this particular team. A little bit of a change in setup as well. Anderson has actually dropped to the bench this time, and I've started Rodon. Now, this decision is pretty much a flip of the coin in my eyes, because Anderson leads, it's a good fixture, but it is away from home, and he is normally quite good for DEFCON, and he hasn't had it for a while it seems, but he normally is quite good for it. On the other hand, you have Rodon, who has the home fixture. It's Fulham. It's not a bad fixture for him either, and yeah, he's okay at DEFCON at sometimes, but for me, Leeds, with their systematic change, they have been a lot better defensively, and they're at home, so I'm thinking maybe I give it to Rodon on this one, but it is so close between them in my eyes. At the moment though, Rodon is starting for me. Then you have Virgil van Dijk with a great fixture against Burnley at home. Fingers crossed he can pull away with a clean sheet here in this game, but that is how the defence is currently set up. Saliba could turn to Gabriel, but I really want to be saving my transfers. Across the midfield is where one of my transfers might be used this game week, and of course you can see there Cunha sat on the bench just above my head. He's got Man City at home, which I do think is not a bad fixture in all honesty. City have had their defensive injuries. They're not looking as strong at the back. Maybe Cunha can take advantage of that with Bruno Fernandes back for Manchester United and hopefully a more attacking role under Michael Carrick. We'll have to see how that develops, but there is a little bit of an unknown with that decision, and it's not exactly the easiest fixture for him. So I do think I could sell him this game week. We're looking at Bruno Fernandes, we're looking at Palmer, long-term premium options, but we're also looking cheaper at Marcus Tavernier, and we'll kind of discuss the transfer plans at the end of today's video, so make sure you're sticking around for that. Currently starting in the midfield though, you have Phil Foden. Blanks in the last few weeks, everyone's frustrated, everyone's selling. I don't get it personally. This season I've been very patient with my decisions, and Phil Foden feels like patience is key right now with him. Manchester United away, brilliant fixture for him. He's got a fantastic record against United, and then he has Wolves in the following week at home. I think if you can hold on to him for 2 weeks, absolutely do so. It's not like he's suddenly turned into a bad option. His data is still pretty decent, and the fixtures are still there to be played. So for me, Phil Foden's a keep. Don't quite understand people when they're selling him, but maybe it's team dependent and I can't exactly understand that, but for me he's a keep. Szoboszlai, Burnley at home, brilliant fixture. Pens, set pieces, it's just the points haven't translated in recent weeks for Liverpool. A bit disappointing of a buy, but he's cheap enough where I can just play him and not really be bothered too much when he blanks. But this week, I do think he could get some serious points against Burnley at home. I think it's a brilliant fixture for Liverpool. I'm expecting a clean sheet. I'm expecting a dominant performance. Goals all over. If you've still got Ekitike, possibly a captaincy option this week alongside Szoboszlai. I'm expecting so much from this game from Liverpool. I do think they're back to their best, and well, not back to their best fully, but almost there. You've got Enzo as well in this midfield here. People will be buying Enzo in the coming weeks. I'm calling it now. He's 1 week he's going to pop off like he has in some recent weeks actually when he scored a few goals. he's got a great set of fixtures. Chelsea under a new manager bounce. Could they be more attacking? Could Enzo have a more advanced role? His data's a joke anyway from anywhere on the pitch. For me, he's a great option in FPL. Cheap. Also a differential, only 10% owned right now. I think that's going to shoot up in the next few weeks of FPL. So I expect Enzo to be one of those players that are bought in quite a lot this week and probably in the next few weeks as well. But that's the midfield with Reinders sat on the bench. I don't think it's worth playing him in this fixture, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the midfield. Let's move to the forward line. Of course, it's Haaland captain this week. I think he's the clear option against United away from home. For me, no one really comes close. Maybe a Ekitike if you want a differential. Maybe a Szoboszlai as well, with both having great fixtures. But Haaland for me is the one this week. We've also got Thiago against Chelsea away from home. We've seen Arsenal score 3 against Chelsea last night. Could we see Brentford do a similar amount of damage? We really don't know how Chelsea are going to organise themselves. It's super early into Rossini's career as manager. Who knows how it's going to look? Is Enzo going to be deeper? Is he going to be higher? Who's going to play in the back line? A lot of uncertainties, especially with the likes of United and Chelsea at the moment. But Thiago has been on fire, and that's one thing we know. So for me, I am going to be playing him this week. I think he's a great option still. Do I think he's a buy if you don't have him? Not necessarily. I think the fixtures will sharp turn for Thiago. I think it's in game week 24 when he goes on that pretty awful run of 3 games, but then comes back to some great fixtures. I see myself holding him for a longer time, even through the harder fixtures. But yeah, I do think he's still a really great option in FPL. Calvert-Lewin, Fulham at home. Calvert-Lewin just feels like the best value option in the forward position at the moment. Creepy Jr. could be. It's just, where is he going to play? Is he going to get the minutes? I think that's a little bit uncertain right now, but for me, he's possibly one to watch as well. But for me, Calvert-Lewin is that slightly better option in the forward line there. As a whole with the team, I'm really happy with this week. And honestly, for the next few weeks, my team looks really brilliant. So this is currently how we're set up. We're going to transition now to my transfer software, and I'm going to show you guys some of the moves I could potentially make for game week 22. We're going to talk a little bit about some of my transfer plans, players I like for this week and the coming game weeks. Who am I going to be targeting? Well, what I've done is I've asked the founder of Night Managers, Sam Harwood, what would the algorithm do with my team this game week? If you don't know who Night Managers are, they are the best performing FPL algorithm in the game. A third of their users are in the top 20k, and they have one manager in the top 50 players in the world. They find upside in the most unlikely places to really boost your chance of a green arrow every single week. If you check the link in the description with code FPLMugs, you're going to get 2 free weeks of their middle tier service. Definitely worth checking them out. And the upside they found with my team this week is actually selling Matheus Cunha and buying Marcus Tavernier. Now, for me, Marcus Tavernier is a brilliant differential, and cheap differential at that in FPL, because for the next 10 weeks, he's got a brilliant set of fixtures, right? He's on penalties. Semenyo's gone. Kluivert has a long-term injury. Penalties are his. He's on set pieces. He just feels like such a great option with the fixtures coming up. And he's just that cheap player that I think could unlock a lot of opportunities in my FPL team here. We now have 2.8 million in the bank. That gives us so much room to do some really interesting transfers. Saliba could easily turn into Gabriel. That's one move I could make this week. 2 transfers, Cunha to Tavernier, Saliba to Gabriel. Now, it's likely I hold off on that move because I think the clean sheet potential, of course, is the same for Saliba and Gabriel. It's just that goal threat for Gabriel that makes him that better, obviously best defender in FPL in all honesty. When we go forward into the next few weeks, though, we're kind of still having a really good setup here. You could play Reinders in this week instead of maybe a Rodon in all honesty with the away fixture at Everton. Everton actually haven't been performing too well lately. But for me, there's no transfers needed in this week. But when we get to game week 24 is when you would make the moves. Szoboszlai would leave the side, Virgil would leave the side, and we'd be transferring them out. I like the look of going to Virgil, from Virgil to Chalobah. Again, we're going to have to wait and see how Chelsea set up in the back line. Is Chalobah going to be the main defender that they use every single week? And then, of course, selling Szoboszlai, we have a lot of money to play with. Could buying Cole Palmer in this game week be the move after sort of a few weeks of not knowing if he's injured or not? Could game week 24 be the time where West Ham, Wolves, Leeds and Burnley come into play for Cole Palmer? 12% owned in FPL, but he's one of the best Premier League players when he's at his fittest. We're just going to have to wait on that. For me, you could easily sell Calvert-Lewin in this week. Arsenal at home. He has Forest the week after. Then it's Chelsea and Aston Villa and Man City. I think you could sell him in this game week personally and go to a Creepy Jr. if we know he is definitely starting every single game, because he's cheap and he of course has a really nice stretch of fixtures just like Marcus Tavernier. My team could easily stop there, but selling Thiago for the short term for Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal could be the move as well, but I do think I would keep a hold of them. Overall, that's kind of the view for the next few weeks. Tavernier is the big one that night managers really like the look of. And again, if you want to check them out, 2 free weeks with the link in the description if you use code FPLMOGS. Of course, I will be live on Saturday morning for the FPL deadline. The deadline is at 11 AM, so don't miss out on that or the live stream. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you've clicked the like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you click the sub button as well for future FPL content and FPL streams. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.